broke a 50-year Democratic dynasty when he beat State Senator Mike Jacobs in 2014. 3 years later, Anderson is about to be up for re-election once again. News 8's Jonathan Ketz joins us live to answer your questions and explains where he's having breakfast with Senator Anderson this morning. John?
Hi there, Angie. Good morning, everybody. Live country style ice cream here in East Moline, Avenue of the Cities, Kennedy Drive. State Senator Neil Anderson joining us now. You ready for the viewer questions?
Sure.
All right, we got a lot of them when we talked about this on our Facebook page. Richard writes in, I realize Mike Madigan is in the House here in the State Senate, but he seems to run things. Democrats are in lockstep. What are you and other Republicans trying to do to rein in the death grip on Illinois so that the voice of rural Illinois can be heard?
That's a great question. So the first thing that we've been doing down there, and we've been doing it for a while, and that's about all we can continue to do, is we're pushing for term limits. And I think the fair compromise is term limits on leadership, so we don't have the Mike Madigans of the world there for 40 years. In the Senate this past year, we did something that I think is a step in the right direction. Every new General Assembly, we pass either current rules or we change rules in that chamber. And in the Senate this year, what we did was we changed the rule in the Senate that leadership, whether it's minority leader or president of the Senate, can only be there 10 years. Now again, that's just the rule change, and that only applies to the Senate. Rules can be changed at any time.
Right.
But like I said, it's a step in the right direction, and that accompanied with fair maps. So people are picking their politicians rather than politicians picking their voters. I think those are two very important things, and the other thing may be open primaries.
Okay. Let's see. Tom writes in here. He would like for the legislature to quit cutting public funding and support a progressive state income tax as opposed to a flat tax rate. People making $10,000 a year shouldn't be paying the same rate as people making $500,000 a year. So do you support the flat income tax or a, I guess, progressive state income tax?
Yeah, so I'm in favor of a flat tax because, I mean, if you have what we're at now, 4.95, the guy who makes $1 million is paying more than the guy that makes $20,000. But the realistic side of that is to do a progressive tax, we'd have to have a constitutional convention, we'd have to change our convention. At the earliest, we're looking at 6 years before implementation. We have to figure out how to solve our problems in the state of Illinois with the tax structure we have.
Mm-hmm. Tough job, right?
Yeah.
One more question real quickly we have here. Jay Huff writes in, do you plan on trying to legalize cannabis? How do you feel about that? Do you support it or no?
That's, you know, I tell you what, this is a tough question. I'm very libertarian at heart. So one thing that we have to denounce, first of all, because I hear it a lot, I get a lot of calls into my office saying, legalize marijuana, it can solve our budget problems. First thing we got to do is denounce that we have a revenue problem. Okay. We have a spending problem. Now, I agree. Any revenue that we can get from anywhere, especially tax and something like that, that's great. It's coming. It's going to happen eventually. We see that going across the United States. But I think what we have to be very careful of, and what I've heard reports of in Colorado, is the edibles being a big problem. So as we go, I encourage people to call my office and let me know how they feel.
Appreciate you joining us. 6:30, half hour right here on Good Morning Quad Cities. We'll talk with State Senator Neil Anderson a little bit more at 6:55 right here on Good Morning Quad Cities. Angie?
John, thank you. And don't forget, we do a special Facebook Live to show you the behind the scenes of our Breakfast with conversations. That takes place right after Good Morning Quad Cities on the WQAD Facebook page. And next week, we're having breakfast with Chef Brad Scott at Scott Community College. We'll be talking to him about the school's culinary arts program inside its state-of-the-art kitchen. That's next Thursday starting at 5 a.m.